If you could save health concerns and struggles for your child and unborn child, wouldn't you? This is a question that most parents have to decide for their child's future as well as their grandchild's future, whether they know it or not. The CDC recommends that each child or person gets 29 doses of 9 vaccines from ages 0 to 6. This can have to do with measles, rubella, anything to that degree. As parents, we're always wanting to ensure that our kids are healthy and happy. And if giving these vaccines can ensure that they're not going to be susceptible to any diseases that could cause them long-term issues with their health or mental wellness, wouldn't you? I know a lot of people choose to vaccinate their children and see it as one of today's greatest healthcare successes. But they prevent against illnesses such as rubella, diphtheria, smallpox, polio, and are actually saving millions of lives. The measles alone has decreased childhood deaths in measles by 74%, and that was a study that was done 2 years ago, so I'm sure the numbers have only gone up since. When you vaccinate your child as a mother, you aren't thinking about the next generation of your grandkids or anything that way, but it has shown that you vaccinating your child helps your unborn grandchildren, which is weird to think about. It helps a lot with the potential birth defects that they can have, and ultimately vaccinating within communities helps eradicate diseases for future generations, which is something that we need, especially with all the communicable diseases that are out there and illnesses and everything that way. There's a big issue about whether vaccines can cause serious health or long-term health issues. The reality of it is that the CDC has shown that 1 in 1 million, about 1 per 1 million children will have an issue with a vaccine. So the chances of them having a long-term issue are very, very slim. A lot of people don't think that we should have to vaccinate anymore because there's really not a threat of measles or smallpox or anything that way. But what we need to remember is that we've got to protect the herd, that we need to ensure that we keep these contagious diseases from having an outbreak, and keeping those vaccines within our system and our child's system and future systems is only going to help that. If we stop giving these people vaccines, we're allowing that chance to happen, and that's a chance that we can't take. Vaccines are not only positive for our child's health, but ultimately for the family as a whole. As a parent, you hate to see your child sick. I can't fathom seeing my child sick in a hospital bed with smallpox and knowing that if I would have given them one shot, I wouldn't have had to worry about it. And there are statistics that show that a study found that each case of measles in Arkansas in 2008 cost the health department $47,000. So that's one case, $47,000 the health department, and as taxpayers, we're responsible for that, whether it's your kid or not. There's also a study that shows that children with flu-like symptoms that are contagious for about 8 days show that their parents, on average, usually lose anywhere from 11 to 73 hours in wages, which can be anywhere, depending on your job and wages like that, anywhere from $222 to $1,500. And that's a lot of money, especially when you're not only missing work, but now you've got these medical bills to make up, all because you didn't vaccinate your child. Today, I've explained some of the reasons why consumers should vaccinate their children. I've brought up some of the reasons why people don't or choose not to. There's not a lot out there showing that these vaccines cause any other mental issues other than helping your child. As a parent, knowing that I can prevent my child from having any future health problems or being susceptible to these diseases, I think it's silly that you wouldn't want to vaccinate your child. It saves parents from having to take time off. It helps that financial crisis because today's economy isn't the greatest. So having these extra medical bills will not help families by any means. If we can keep each child vaccinated, it's only going to help not only themselves and that family, but future generations and our community as a whole to not have to take on that financial burden, as well as keeping everyone healthy. So this is my conclusion on why we should vaccinate.